Hello, welcome to your fairy tale wedding show. I am your host, Claudia Chen. Finding the right venue is probably one of the most important tasks, and it can definitely get overwhelming because it's dependent on so many different factors. Our expert here today manages 4 different event venues, and she's here today to help us shed some light how we can find the right venue. Here is Kristin Light from Refvik Light. Hello, Kristin. How are you?
I'm great. How are you today?
Very good, thanks. Very happy to have you on here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and your company, Refvik Light?
Sure. Well, Refvik Light Productions consists of myself, Kristin Light, and my business partner, Shannon Refvik. And we started this crazy venture in October of 2016. Wow. And initially, we weren't quite certain that it was going to go down this exact path, but we knew we wanted to be involved in the events industry. And Shannon was actually working for a coffee shop, Merchants of Green, in the East End of Toronto, and knew of this big attic space above it that was just not being used at all. It was sort of a bit of a rundown old space, sort of one light bulb hanging from the ceiling kind of situation. But the bones were beautiful. It was all brick with wood beams through the whole thing. And we didn't have a dime to our name or any idea what we were doing, but we signed a lease and went for it.
Wow.
And that's how things got started.
Oh, wow. So you and Shannon manages 4 different venues. Could you share with us the characteristics of each of the venues and what kind of wedding styles are suitable for each of them?
Sure. Well, the first one is the Jam Factory, and that is a 150-year-old building. So you get all the old world, retro, rustic kind of charm to the space. The kind of weddings, it's definitely leans more towards the off the beaten path wedding. So folks that want things that are a little more casual or a little more individual for them. They don't want, no 2 weddings look the same in the Jam Factory, which is really exciting. The juxtaposition of clean white linens and harvest tables against all the brick is really stunning. We have all Edison light bulbs in there to give that old world charm a little bit more to your wedding. We have seen everything in there. We have seen couples do a first crowd surf as opposed to a first dance. That was pretty wild. We get rock bands in there on the regular, hip hop competitions, anything and everything you could imagine as part of your wedding, which is pretty cool. Our second space is the Richmond, which is downtown Toronto, and it's very different view. This is a floor-to-ceiling windows, lots of natural light flooding into the Richmond. It's on the ground floor, so it's fully accessible. It does have a mezzanine level as part of it, so then you can have your DJ or your band up top overlooking the dance floor, which is pretty exciting for weddings. The Richmond's a little smaller, so we do specialize in boutique style small weddings, sort of the 50 to 60 person arrangement there. And again, no 2 weddings look the same because it's a blank space, blank slate of a space, so you can really customize it to your own look, whether you want glam or rustic or 1920s Art Deco. You can definitely make it happen in the Richmond, which is pretty cool. Our third space is Eastbound Brewing Co. So we don't own the brewery, obviously, but we have been contracted in to run the events for them. And they are just getting into the wedding show world. Oh, okay. They have hosted a couple of weddings. We've got a couple more coming up this year. So it's definitely for folks that are looking for something unique and that they haven't seen already on their Facebook feeds. You get to have your photos overlooking the brewing operation with all the tanks, which is pretty cool. It is a very cozy space, lots of natural wood as well, and really great staff. The staff at the Eastbound are absolutely top-notch, and they will take care of you every step of the way. And our last space is Parlor, which is downtown Toronto as well. And this, like Eastbound, we don't own it. We were brought in to fill it with events as much as possible. Weddings are definitely different in Parlor because it's not one big open space. It's a series of smaller rooms, and it's all rich textures, brick, velvet, wood. It is absolutely gorgeous in there. And if you want something that's a little more cozy cocktail style, that's a really good opportunity. There's also 2 outdoor spaces as part of Parlor. There's a courtyard and a sort of back patio area as well. So you could do your ceremony outside and then bring everybody in for cocktail hour after that.
Yeah, so I know that the Parlor is the newest one. Yes. And I'm definitely excited to see more pictures that are coming out with weddings being filled in that event space, definitely. So for couples who are just about to start looking for venues, what are some of the key points that they should be mindful of or think about when they start on this venture?
It's pretty exciting. Most people look for venue first because without a venue, nothing else can fall into place. So usually catering and venue come right off the top for most couples. You'd be surprised how many folks start the venue search without any idea of their guest list size.
Mm.
And so that is always my number one. Write down all your friends and family. See what you're dealing with. Are you dealing with 50? Are you dealing with 75? Are you dealing with 150, 300? That will narrow down your list of venues in the city already. And from there, you can see which ones you're attracted to. There are some really great directory sites online. Folks can go through profiles and videos and see what a real wedding looks like in the space. And then book appointments, have some fun with it. Go in, do a tour, talk to people. One of the more exciting parts of your wedding planning, and you'll know when you found the right venue. It's just like what they say when you find the right dress. You just know. You'll get that feeling. You'll see your wedding happening in that space. And that's when you know you've got the right one.
So Kristin, you kind of mentioned that there are some of the venues that has a blank slate, and then there are other ones that have furnitures that are already present in there. Could you speak a little bit more about that?
Sure, that's definitely something you want to ask on your venue tours. A venue like the Jam Factory or the Richmond are blank. So they come with very limited furniture, a couple of tables. The Jam Factory has a bar you can use. That's about it. So you really want to work with your venue coordinator and your caterer to design a floor plan that's really going to work for your wedding and your event. You'll need to know if tables need to be struck down or if anything else needs to be set up at the halfway point. And these are things that you can coordinate for sure. We have rental partners that we work with, Higgins Event Rentals and Divine Furniture Rental. But you get into a space like Eastbound or Parlor, and they come ready-made with their furniture already in them. You can rearrange, absolutely. Eastbound has bistro tables and high top tables and some benches that you can rearrange to create the open space that you would like. And Parlor is all textures. It's rich with velvet couches and settees, woods, the brick, lots of metals as well in the space. So it really, really creates the look. So when you're looking at the cost of a venue, furniture rentals are definitely one that you'll have to factor in. So it's not really apples to oranges at that point. It's apples to bananas.
Yeah, because in terms of the cost, additional to the furnitures, and there you have to bring in the catering. The other two venues that you mentioned, there will be food that are already on site that you can purchase. Is that correct?
Eastbound Brewing Co. has a fabulous kitchen. Chef Tara is amazing, and they can create anything that you want. You're still welcome to bring in your own cake. If you want to bring in an outside cake. Parlor has 2 caterers on the list that you can choose from, whichever one suits you best. That is Treeline Catering and Victor Drees Curated Events, and you can work with them. Outside catering is welcome. Just like at Jam and Richmond, we do welcome outside caterers. There is a landmark fee to be aware of, but anyone's welcome in this space.
So now that you're talking about the landmark fee, would you just quickly mention a few of the fees that usually couples are not aware of when they come to meet you?
Sure. We call them not so hidden fees because we like to be upfront about this for folks so there's no surprises, even the small ones. Landmark fees are one to definitely be aware of. That's sort of a percentage of your catering bill that gets remitted back to the venue as almost a kitchen rental, so to speak. It's normally anywhere from 10% to I've seen as much as 30. We charge 10 or 15, depending on whether it's a preferred caterer or not on our list. Other fees to keep in mind, SoCan, which is now in tandem. So the music licensing used to be 2 different companies, SoCan and Resound, and they recently merged to become in tandem. And that may only be an extra $50 or $80 on your bill, but it can be a surprise if you're not used to it. AV is another one, audio visual. Some venues lump it into your package. Others let you pick and choose what you want. Eastbound lumps it in. Jam Factory lumps it in. Richmond, you can pick and choose. Parlor, you can pick and choose as well. And that could be anything from your audio system that your DJ wants to hook into, to special lighting, if you want a spotlight, if you want a projector with a slideshow of your photos going throughout your wedding. Those can be extra fees that get added on.
Yeah, there is a lot of different things that we have to be mindful of, because I remember when my husband and I were looking for a venue, there were things like these fees that we knew nothing about until we were reading into the booklet. We're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, we didn't know about these things. Yeah.
Some
So,
venues will charge a ceremony fee if you're doing your ceremony there.
oh,
We don't at most of ours, but Eastbound does, simply because they have to close the restaurant early without any food and beverage income. So you may be facing a ceremony fee at certain venues as well.
I see. I see. Okay. So for couples who are looking to book their wedding date,
Yes.
looking for a venue for wedding date, when do you suggest is actually the best time to book a wedding? Like if let's say they don't really have a preference of like, oh, summertime, or let's say something like that.
If you have a wider option of dates, you can start looking a year in advance. If you want a specific weekend, especially if it's a long weekend or New Year's Eve or something like that, a year and a half is a little safer. At the Richmond, we will book weddings with as little as 6 weeks notice.
Wow.
If the date's available, we'll do it. It comes down to availability. If you're flexible on whether you want a Friday or a Saturday night or a Sunday afternoon or a brunch wedding, if you have some flexibility, you can book short term, which is kind of exciting. It is possible to pull a wedding together in 6 to 8 weeks. It's not for everybody, and it does depend on the size and whether or not your guests need to make travel arrangements, but it can be done.
Wow. So now that you have talked about the short notice weddings, would you
Yeah.
be able to tell us a little bit more about that?
I love them. I find them exciting. And the couples have their own reasons. Maybe they are traveling, maybe they reside in a different country and they're just in Canada briefly because that's where their friends and family are and they want to get her done. Plastic shotgun wedding is another one. Maybe someone's pregnant and they want to get the wedding before the baby comes. Everyone has their own reasons. Some just don't want to get a dragged out planning process. They want to get their vendors, get everything set, and get her done. We can definitely help with that if we have the availability. I generally will meet with the couple right away and we'll get their floor plan set and their furniture ordered, their staffing ordered, and their catering ordered. So we want to make sure you get all those big elements in place. Caterer is a big one. Venue is a big one. Your staffing's another one. And then you can start to fill in the other details. You book your calligrapher, for example, if you want your invitations and your signage to be beautiful. Your DJ might be another one that you'll need to get on right away with that. We can definitely help with those elements. We do offer a month of and day of coordination as well as part of our packages. We're happy to help with those last minute arrangements. Anyone in the wedding industry has a network of trusted folks that they work with, and they can definitely work that network.
Sure. It's always great to know people within the industry so that they can suggest other people that are awesome in the industry too. So our interview is coming to a close, and I know you have a free gift for our viewers. Would you be able to share with us what this is?
Sure. I have a checklist for you. For when you're just starting your venue tours and you're not sure what to ask, this is a great checklist to bring along. It'll ask about furniture, hidden fees, catering arrangements, things that may not be on your radar when you're just getting started. But trust me, you're going to want all that information.
That is so awesome. Thank you so much, Kristin. That is such a generous gift that you're giving all of our viewers. It's great speaking with you and getting to know you more and the venues that you and Shannon take care of. Once again, thank you for your time to come on the show, and it was great chatting with you.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.